My wedding was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. My fiancé, now my husband, is the most amazing man I've ever met, and I couldn't wait to officially join our lives together. The planning was stressful, as it always is, but everything was coming together perfectly. The venue was booked, the dress was a dream, and all our loved ones were ready to celebrate with us. All except for one person I desperately needed there, my dad. And the reason he wasn't there, my stepmother Linda. Let's back up a bit. My parents divorced when I was a teenager. It was messy, but eventually, they settled into a civil co-parenting relationship. A few years later, my dad met Linda. From the very beginning, she made it clear she wasn't interested in being a stepmom. She wasn't outwardly cruel, just cold. She saw my brother and me as inconvenient baggage from my dad's past life. She'd make passive-aggressive comments, conveniently forget to include us in family plans, and always had a way of making us feel like outsiders in our own father's home. My dad, blinded by what he thought was love, always made excuses for her. "That's just how Linda is," he'd say. "She doesn't mean anything by it," but she did. Oh, she definitely did. When I got engaged, my dad was overjoyed. He promised to walk me down the aisle and give a speech at the reception. He was genuinely excited. Linda, on the other hand, offered a tight-lipped smile and a lukewarm congratulations. Throughout the planning process, she was a constant source of negativity. She criticized my choice of flowers, complained about the menu, and even had the audacity to suggest I postpone the wedding because the date was inconvenient for her. I ignored her, focusing instead on the joy of marrying the love of my life and having my dad by my side. I was so naive. The morning of my wedding, I woke up with butterflies in my stomach, but they were the good kind. My bridesmaids were there, the sun was shining, and everything felt perfect. I called my dad to see when he'd be arriving at the hotel. He sounded frantic. "Honey, I'm so sorry," he said, his voice laced with panic. "There's an emergency with Linda. She's been in a terrible accident. I'm on my way to the hospital now. I don't think I can make it." My heart sank. An accident? I felt a wave of guilt for my previous dislike of her. "Oh my God, is she okay? What happened?" I asked, my own perfect day suddenly seeming insignificant. He explained that Linda had called him crying, saying she had fallen down a flight of stairs at a friend's house across town and thought she had broken her leg. She was alone and needed him to come get her and take her to the emergency room immediately. Of course, he had to go. It was a crisis. He promised he'd try to get to the wedding as soon as he could, but he couldn't guarantee it. I was devastated. I cried. My makeup artist worked overtime, and my maid of honor held my hand, telling me it would be okay. But how could it be okay? My dad wasn't going to walk me down the aisle. My wonderful brother stepped in, and I was grateful, but it wasn't the same. I walked down that aisle, smiling through the tears, my heart aching for my dad's absence. The ceremony was beautiful, but there was a shadow over the entire day. My dad never showed up. He called later that night, sounding exhausted. He said Linda had a severe sprain and a concussion, and they had been at the hospital for hours. I tried to be understanding, but a small, nagging part of me felt like something was off. That nagging feeling grew over the next few days. I called my dad to check on Linda, but his answers were vague. He seemed evasive, changing the subject whenever I asked for details about the accident then. About a week after the wedding, I received a message on social media. It was from a woman I didn't know. Her profile picture showed her standing next to Linda, smiling. The message read, "I'm so sorry to do this, but I think you need to know the truth about your wedding day. I'm Linda's friend, Sarah, the one she was supposedly visiting when she fell." My hands started to shake as I read on. Sarah explained that Linda hadn't fallen down any stairs. In fact, she had spent the entire day of my wedding at a spa with her. They got massages, facials, the whole 9 yards. Sarah even sent me a photo. It was a selfie of her and Linda, clinking champagne glasses, wearing fluffy spa robes. The timestamp on the photo was right in the middle of my wedding ceremony. Linda was glowing, looking relaxed and happy, without a single scratch on her. Sarah said she had no idea about Linda's scheme until later. Linda had bragged to her about how she cleverly fabricated the entire emergency to keep my dad away from the wedding. She told Sarah she couldn't stand the thought of my dad fawning over me all day and wanted him all to herself. She even faked the crying on the phone and coached my dad on what to tell me about her injuries. Sarah said she felt disgusted by Linda as deception and couldn't live with the guilt of knowing what she had done to me and my father. Rage. I have never felt such pure, unadulterated rage. It was a physical force, hot and sharp, coursing through my veins. She didn't just dislike me. She actively hated me enough to orchestrate this cruel, manipulative lie. She had stolen one of the most important moments of my life from me and my father. This wasn't just passive aggression, this was a declaration of war. I immediately sent the screenshot to my dad with a simple message: "We need to talk now." A few minutes later, he called me, his voice trembling. He had confronted Linda. At first, she denied everything, calling her friend a liar. But when my dad showed her the photo, the evidence was undeniable. She broke down and confessed the whole sick plot. He was completely shattered. The woman he loved, the woman he had defended for years, had lied to him, manipulated him, and intentionally caused a rift between him and his own daughter on her wedding day. My dad drove to my house that evening. He stood on my doorstep, his face etched with pain and regret, and just sobbed. He apologized over and over again. He said he was a fool for not seeing her true colors sooner, for making excuses for her behavior for so long. He was broken. Seeing my strong, proud father cry like that broke my heart all over again. But this time, my anger wasn't directed at him. It was all for Linda. In that moment, I forgave my dad completely. He was a victim in this just as much as I was. We talked for hours, and for the first time, he truly listened to all the little hurts and slights I had endured from Linda over the years. It was like a dam had broken, and all the things he had dismissed were finally seen in the harsh light of her ultimate betrayal. The aftermath was swift. My dad told Linda to pack her bags and get out. He filed for divorce the very next day. He told me he couldn't spend another minute with a person capable of such calculated cruelty. The divorce is still in progress, and from what I hear, Linda is telling everyone that I'm a vindictive daughter who broke up her happy marriage. Let her talk. Her true friends know what she did. To make up for what we lost, my husband and I planned a small, private redo of our vows a few months later. It was just us, my brother, and my dad in a beautiful little garden. This time, my dad walked me down the aisle, a simple grassy path, and gave the most beautiful, heartfelt speech that left us all in tears. It wasn't the big wedding I had planned, but in many ways it was more meaningful. It was a moment of healing, a reclaiming of what Linda tried to destroy. My relationship with my dad is stronger than it has ever been. It's sad that it took such a painful event to get here, but I'm grateful to have my real father back, free from Linda's toxic influence. As for her, I hope she enjoys her spa days. She is going to have a lot of lonely years ahead of her to think about the family she so callously threw away. She didn't just lose a husband. She revealed herself to be the empty, bitter person she truly is, and that's a punishment no court can deliver. Thank you so much for listening to my story. It's been a wild ride, but my family is healing and moving forward. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content. See you in the next one.